Have you ever felt like everything is falling apart? When your dreams shatter, your heart breaks, and nothing makes sense anymore. That's the moment when a new life begins. If you choose not to give up, Part 1. When everything breaks. There comes a time in everyone's life when everything seems to fall apart. The people you once trusted walk away. The plans you made dissolve in front of your eyes. And the version of yourself that you used to be disappears. It's a strange kind of silence. The world keeps moving, but inside you, everything stops. You wake up, but you don't feel alive. You smile, but it doesn't reach your heart. You speak, but the words sound empty. That's what happens when life breaks you. It doesn't happen all at once, it happens slowly. One disappointment after another. One goodbye after another. One silent night after another. Until one day, you realize that you are no longer the same person you used to be. You start to question everything. Why me? Why now? What did I do to deserve this? You look for answers in people, in books, in prayers, in the sky, but everything feels quiet. That's when you realize something profound. Sometimes the silence is not punishment. It's protection. Life is not ignoring you. It's rebuilding you. You see, when everything breaks, it's not the end. It's the beginning of your transformation. Think about it. A seed must break before it grows. A caterpillar must dissolve inside its cocoon before it becomes a butterfly. Even the dawn only comes after the darkest night. So maybe, just maybe, what's breaking right now is not your life, but your limits. Maybe the relationships that ended were never meant to stay. Maybe the failures that haunt you were meant to redirect you. Maybe the pain that's crushing you is molding you into someone stronger, wiser, and freer than before. Life breaks us so it can show us who we really are. When you lose everything you thought you needed, you start to see what truly matters. The noise fades. The masks fall. The lies you told yourself disappear. What remains is the raw truth, the real you. And yes, that truth is uncomfortable because it strips away everything false, everything borrowed, everything temporary. But it's also the most liberating thing in the world. You begin to realize that happiness was never out there. It was always inside you, buried beneath expectations, fears, and the need to please others. When everything breaks, you finally get a chance to rebuild not the old life, but a new one. A life where peace matters more than approval, where growth matters more than comfort, where self-respect matters more than attention. This is where the healing begins. Not when everything gets fixed, but when you stop pretending that it was never broken. Healing is not about going back to who you were. It's about becoming who you were meant to be all along. You may cry every night. You may feel lost, confused, and alone. But even in those moments, something inside you is quietly shifting. Your heart is learning resilience. Your mind is learning patience. Your soul is learning faith. Every tear is cleansing you. Every moment of silence is teaching you. Every piece of pain is shaping you. You may not see it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that this season, this painful, lonely, uncertain season, was a reason you found your true strength. The truth is, growth never feels like growth when you're in it. It feels like chaos. It feels like breaking. It feels like you're losing control. But that's exactly what growth is. The process of losing control over what was never meant for you. You're not losing yourself. You're shedding your old self, the one who settled for less, the one who tried to please everyone, the one who was afraid of being alone. You're becoming someone new, someone wiser, someone calmer, someone who doesn't chase validation because they've finally found peace within. So when everything breaks, don't rush to fix it. Sit in the ruins for a while. Let yourself grieve. Let yourself feel the loss. Let yourself be human. Then slowly you'll start to rebuild. Not with the same bricks, but with stronger ones built from truth, patience, and self-love. One small step at a time. One deep breath at a time. One act of courage at a time. You'll start to see beauty again, not in perfection, but in the cracks. Because the cracks are where the light enters. You'll start to trust again, not others first, but yourself. Because the person who survived this storm deserves your love, your care, your belief. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll wake up and feel something you haven't felt in a long time: peace. The kind of peace that doesn't depend on anyone. The kind of peace that doesn't need to prove anything. The kind of peace that simply exists because you do. That's when you'll understand what this pain was for. It wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to awaken you. Life had to break you to show you that you were never truly broken. You were only being shaped, refined, prepared. So, if everything is falling apart right now, don't lose hope. Don't give up. Don't rush the process. Because one day, you'll look back and thank the storm for making you who you were always meant to be. Until then, breathe. Feel. Heal. And remember, when everything breaks, that's when your real story begins. Part 2. The lesson hidden in pain. Pain, a word that everyone knows, but few truly understand. We try to escape it, silence it, hide from it. But no matter how far we run, pain always finds a way to reach us. Because pain is not your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. Every human being goes through pain, yet only a few allow it to change them. Most people resist it, numb it, or deny it. But those who face it, those who sit with it, listen to it, and learn from it, they transform. Pain is not here to punish you. It's here to prepare you. It teaches you what strength really means. Not the kind of strength that looks powerful on the outside, but the quiet strength that allows you to smile when your soul is tired. The strength to stand when everything inside you wants to fall. Pain shows you what love truly is. It reveals who is genuine and who is only there for convenience. It strips away the illusions, the fake smiles, the temporary attachments, the shallow promises. And yes, that hurts. But without that pain, you would keep trusting the wrong people. You see, life uses pain as a filter to remove what was never meant to stay and to reveal what was always meant to grow. When you're in pain, everything slows down. Time feels heavy. Every second feels longer than it should. But that's when growth happens. Because when life gets quiet, your soul starts to speak. You start to hear your own thoughts clearly. You start to see your own patterns, how you love too hard, how you ignored red flags, how you lost yourself trying to be enough for someone else. Pain doesn't just break you, it shows you your reflection. It shows you what needs healing, what needs boundaries, what needs forgiveness. Most of us think healing means forgetting, but true healing means remembering without anger, without blame, without hate. It means looking back at what hurt you and saying, "Thank you for teaching me what I deserve better than." Pain teaches you to let go, to stop clinging to what's gone, and start trusting what's coming. Because no matter how deep the wound, life always finds a way to heal if you allow it. But healing takes time. You can't rush it. You can't force it. You can only surrender to it. Some days you'll feel strong. Other days, you'll fall apart again. That's okay. Healing is not a straight road. It's a spiral, sometimes forward, sometimes backward, but always upward. Every breakdown you have means something inside you is being released. The pain you feel today is the pain of growth, not destruction. When a tree grows, its roots break the soil. When a bird learns to fly, it breaks the shell. When a person evolves, they break patterns, beliefs, and attachments. Every kind of growth begins with some kind of break. And if you're breaking right now, Maybe it means you're finally growing beyond who you used to be. Pain also teaches humility. It reminds you that you're human, that it's okay to cry. Okay to not have all the answers. Okay to need help. You don't have to pretend to be strong all the time. True strength isn't about hiding your pain. It's about facing it with honesty. Cry if you need to. Rest if you must. But never close your heart. Because the moment you close your heart to pain, you also close it to joy. The same heart that feels heartbreak also feels love. The same soul that went through darkness also finds the light. Don't curse the pain. Ask it, what are you trying to teach me? Because every pain carries a message. A message about who you are, what you value, and what needs to change. Maybe the lesson is patience. Maybe it's self-respect. Maybe it's learning to walk away from what doesn't serve your peace. Whatever it is, learn it. Because the faster you learn, the softer the pain becomes. There will be nights when you'll cry yourself to sleep. There will be mornings when you won't want to get out of bed. But keep going, one step at a time, one breath at a time, one heartbeat at a time. Because life never wastes pain. If you feel it deeply, you'll grow deeply. And when you heal, truly heal, you'll carry a kind of peace that nothing can take away. You'll stop chasing happiness outside yourself, because you'll realize it's been inside you all along. Pain teaches you empathy. After suffering, you begin to understand others better. You listen differently. You love differently. You no longer judge as quickly, because you know how invisible wounds can be. Pain softens the heart, even when it hurts. One day, you'll meet someone else who's hurting, and your story will become their hope. You'll speak from experience, not theory. You'll tell them, I know it hurts, but you will survive this. Because you did. That's the beauty of pain. It not only transforms you, it allows you to transform others. Pain is not permanent, but the wisdom it leaves behind that stays forever. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this trying to teach me? That single shift in perspective changes everything. Because when you stop fighting your pain and start learning from it, it loses its power to destroy you. The same pain that once broke you becomes the reason you rise. You'll smile again, not because life is perfect, but because you understand it now. You understand that everything, even pain, has purpose. And when you reach that understanding, your heart becomes untouchable, not cold, not distant, but free. You begin to live differently. You choose peace over chaos. You choose meaning over drama. You choose yourself not out of arrogance, but out of awareness. That's the hidden lesson of pain. It teaches you to love yourself enough to never go back to what broke you. So let it teach you, let it shape you, let it guide you. Because the moment you embrace your pain instead of escaping it, it stops being pain. It becomes power. Part 3. Turning pain into power. There comes a moment when the pain that once broke you no longer controls you. The same memories that used to make you cry now make you wiser. The same people who hurt you no longer have power over you. That moment when pain turns into power is when your true transformation begins. For so long, you carried your wounds like they defined you. You thought your heartbreak was your identity. You believed your failures were proof that you weren't enough. But pain was never meant to define you. It was meant to refine you. Every scar you have is proof that you survived something that once tried to destroy you. You are not weak because you were hurt. You are strong because you kept going despite the hurt. Pain becomes power when you stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I do with it? When you take what broke you and use it as fuel, fuel to grow, to create, to help others to rise. That's when your pain transforms into purpose. Remember this, life doesn't change when your circumstances change. Life changes when you change. When you choose to see your scars as lessons instead of losses. When you stop running from your past and start learning from it. When you decide that your story is not over, that's the moment you reclaim your power. You were never meant to stay broken. You were meant to rebuild stronger, clearer, freer. Turning pain into power doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means accepting that not everything will be, and still choosing to move forward anyway. You rise not because you never fell, but because you refuse to stay down. You've seen the darkness, and yet you keep choosing the light. You've been hurt, and yet you keep choosing love. You've lost everything, and yet you still have hope. That's not weakness. That's power. Real power doesn't shout. It doesn't need to prove anything. Real power is quiet confidence, the kind that comes from surviving yourself. When you've been to the bottom and made it out, nothing can shake you the same way again. You learn that not everyone will understand your journey, and that's okay. You're not here to be understood. You're here to evolve. The pain you've been through gave you vision. It taught you to recognize fake love, to set boundaries, to protect your peace. It gave you empathy, the ability to look at someone else's struggle and say, I understand. That's what makes you powerful. Not perfection, but perspective. When you realize that pain was your greatest teacher, you start living differently. You stop chasing what doesn't matter. You stop begging for closure. You stop explaining yourself to those who will never see you. You begin to protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. You learn to say no without guilt, yes without fear, and goodbye without anger. You start to understand that peace is not something you find, it's something you build. And it begins the day you decide that your past will no longer define your future. Every great story has moments of pain, but the hero always rises. And you are that hero. Maybe no one saw your battles. Maybe no one clapped when you survived. But you did. You survived storms that no one even knew you were walking through. And that survival, that quiet, uncelebrated survival, is your superpower. Don't ever underestimate the strength it takes to keep going when no one believes in you. Don't ever forget that resilience doesn't come from comfort. It comes from chaos. The truth is, you don't heal by going back to the person you were. You heal by becoming someone new, someone who can look at the pain and say, thank you for making me stronger. Because pain changes your direction. It sharpens your focus. It humbles your heart. And eventually, it turns into wisdom, the kind that no book can teach and no one can take away. You begin to see that every loss created space for something better. Every ending was a doorway to a beginning you didn't yet understand. The people who left taught you self-reliance. The mistakes you made taught you awareness. The loneliness you felt taught you self-love. And the pain you endured, it taught you purpose. Because the moment you realize your story can help someone else, your suffering becomes sacred. You stop seeing your past as a wound and start seeing it as a weapon, one that you now use to build, not to destroy. That's the power you were always meant to find. You turn your heartbreak into art, your loss into compassion, your mistakes into wisdom. You stop waiting for life to get easier because you've learned to get stronger. This is what it means to turn pain into power, to rise not in spite of what happened, but because of it. You don't need revenge. You don't need validation. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You just need to live fully, fearlessly, and freely. Because you've already faced the worst, and you're still here. And that means there's nothing left to fear. So, standtai. Speak your truth. Follow your peace. And let your scars remind you not of what broke you, but of how beautifully you rebuilt yourself. That's your power. That's your rebirth. That's your story now. And the world needs to hear it. Part 4. Rebuilding yourself. After the storm, there is silence. The kind of silence that feels unfamiliar, not empty, but open. It's the silence of new beginnings, of healing, of rebuilding. When everything has been taken from you, your comfort, your plans, your people, you're left with something rare, a blank page. And though it's terrifying, it's also sacred. Because now, for the first time, you get to decide who you want to become. Rebuilding yourself is not about returning to who you were before the pain. It's about becoming someone wiser, calmer, and more alive than ever before. The truth is, you'll never be the same again, and that's a blessing. The person you were before the pain couldn't have survived what you went through. But the person you're becoming now, they are unshakable. Rebuilding starts slowly. It doesn't happen in one breakthrough moment. It happens in tiny choices, quiet, invisible steps that no one notices. It starts the morning you get out of bed, even when you don't want to. It starts when you smile again, even when your heart still aches. It starts when you forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Healing is not a loud process. It's gentle, patient, and personal. You rebuild yourself in the silence of your own growth. You begin by changing how you talk to yourself. The words inside your mind create the world outside you. So speak softly. Tell yourself, I am enough. I am learning. I am healing. You may not believe it at first, but with time, you will. Because every time you speak love into your own life, a piece of you returns home. Rebuilding also means setting boundaries, learning to protect your peace like it's oxygen. You stop letting people drain you just because you're afraid of disappointing them. You stop chasing those who left, and you stop explaining yourself to those who refuse to understand. You learn to walk alone not because you don't need anyone, but because you finally realize you don't need everyone. You start surrounding yourself with people who see your light, not your wounds. Those who speak truth, not flattery. Those who help you grow, not those who keep you stuck. And slowly, your world begins to change. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you've changed the way you respond to it. You begin to find beauty again in sunsets, in silence, in small acts of kindness. You start noticing the softness of the morning air, the comfort of your own breath, the strength of your heartbeat. You realize you don't need everything you lost. You just need yourself whole, present, peaceful. Rebuilding yourself means accepting what was while focusing on what can be. You stop rewriting the past and start designing the future. You begin setting goals again, not for recognition, but for purpose. You start moving with intention, not to escape your pain, but to express your power. You create new routines that support your growth. You eat better, think clearer, rest deeper. You stop waiting for motivation and start building discipline. Because healing is not magic, it's effort. Every day you choose to do better, you're becoming better. There will still be days when old pain whispers your name. Days when you feel like you're back at the beginning. But you're not. Every breakdown you survived built a foundation of strength beneath your feet. You may wobble, but you won't fall. Rebuilding yourself means learning to trust again, starting with trusting yourself. You stop questioning every decision. Stop doubting your worth. You realize that even when you make mistakes, you're still growing. You are still enough. One day, you'll look in the mirror and see it not the broken version of who you were, but the evolved version of who you've become. The one who fought silent battles. The one who healed old wounds. The one who refused to give up. That version of you deserves your love. So be kind to yourself in the rebuilding. You're not behind. You're not late. You're right where you need to be, becoming who you were always meant to become. Don't rush the process. Rebuilding takes time, and that's okay. You're learning how to live again, this time with awareness, not illusion. You'll laugh again, not because the pain is gone, but because you finally understand it. You'll love again, not because you forgot, but because you learned how to protect your heart while keeping it open. You'll trust again, not because everyone deserves it, but because you deserve peace. This is what rebuilding looks like. Not perfection, but presence. Not rushing, but trusting. Not fixing yourself, but finding yourself. You rebuild when you stop searching for the old you and start embracing the new one. You rebuild when you finally accept that the past is a chapter, not your identity. And most of all, you rebuild when you start living again. Not for others, but for yourself. Because this time it's different. This time, you're not building from fear, you're building from wisdom. You're building with stronger boundaries, softer eyes, and a peaceful heart. You're building a life where your peace isn't negotiable. Your joy isn't borrowed, and your worth isn't defined by anyone else. This time, you're not trying to prove anything. You're simply becoming everything you were always meant to be. So breathe. Look around. Feel how far you've come. You're not broken anymore. You are rebuilding, and that is more powerful than perfection could ever be. Because the truth is, life doesn't reward those who never fall. It rewards those who rise again and again. And you are rising beautifully. Part 5. Reflection. You were never broken. Look back for a moment. Remember the nights you thought you wouldn't survive, the mornings you woke up empty, the days when silence felt louder than words. You thought you were broken. You thought you were lost. But now, standing here, breathing, living, growing, you realize something. You were never broken. You were becoming. Every wound shaped you. Every scar told a story of courage. Every fall taught you how to rise higher. Life wasn't punishing you, it was preparing you. Preparing you to see yourself differently. Preparing you to walk through fire and still find peace in the ashes. You see, strength doesn't come from what's easy. It comes from what you've survived. The pain didn't destroy you, it revealed the depth of your soul. The loneliness didn't end you, it introduced you to your own heart. And the failure didn't define you, it taught you how to begin again. So, now you understand. You didn't lose yourself in the chaos. You found yourself in it. You didn't crumble under the pressure. You discovered your power. You didn't fall apart. You were being rebuilt piece by piece into someone unshakable. Healing is not forgetting what hurt you. Healing is remembering without pain. It's looking at your past and saying, "Thank you for making me who I am." You're no longer the person who begged for love to stay. You're the one who learned to give that love to yourself. You no longer chase peace, you create it within you. You no longer fear endings you understand, they're the beginning of something new. Maybe this is what it means to be alive, to break, to heal, to rise, and to love again. To realize that no storm lasts forever, and no darkness can hold back the dawn. So, the next time life breaks you, don't ask why me. Ask instead, what does this try to teach me? Because pain is a messenger, it arrives only to deliver wisdom. You are not meant to stay wounded. You are meant to evolve, to transform, to rise from your own ashes like a phoenix. And when people look at you and ask, "How did you survive?" you'll smile and say, "I didn't just survive, I was reborn." This is your story now, a story of strength, healing, and rebirth. You were never broken. You were only becoming whole.